click this. Anyway, it's Duggys Atomic Dustbin, people, and we've got a special guest on for Duggystone Radio's introducing. Introduce yourself.
I'm Tom. I'm the guitarist and vocalist for Zilch.
Excellent. Surrounded by musical instruments as well. Drum kits,
guitars. This is my demo room, yeah.
Excellent. Thanks for coming on the show. I was panicking then. I thought it wasn't going to happen, but yeah, my studio computer went whack yesterday. I spent all the afternoon and this morning trying to get it to work. So I'm currently working on a temporary solution, and it's it's been an interesting morning. So yeah,
sounds like it.
Bit of a tip for everyone out there: have a backup solution that you've tested, worked out, and you can just switch on like that. And after today, when we get my computer back, I'm going to have a third solution which will give me more redundancy, as they say in the IT world. So tell us a bit about the band.
We formed back in 2018. Me and the drummer Crag, we were already in a band called Navajo Ace, and it was kind of like old school emo kind of stuff. I joined them. That band dissolved, and we had another mutual friend, Cal, who plays bass. And we all just wanted to try something a little bit heavier, and sort of like grunge music and alt rock is kind of where my interests lie musically. So it all worked out really nicely.
Excellent. So we're going to play one of your tracks towards the end of the interview. So what have you got planned for 2023? Anything in the pipeline?
So recently just finished our next EP, our second EP. Our first EP, Cigars and Diazepam, we released back in 2020 in the midst of the pandemic. We had plans to tour and do like a proper release and everything, but with lockdowns and everything in place, we just decided just to sort of drop it because we didn't want to sit on it too long. So so we finished tracking, mixing, mastering the EP. So it's all done. We're just waiting on artwork and stuff, but yeah, that should be in the pipeline for early next year. And plenty more shows and more single releases too. We've got a load of stuff in the pipeline.
Oh, that's brilliant. What about touring? Have you got what are you currently doing from that part of you?
At the moment, we're just kind of looking around for different venues, trying to get on maybe some better support bills as well with like some bigger groups and stuff like in a similar sort of vein to us. Try and reach those kind of audiences. I'm sure a lot of people listening, if they're in bands, know the frustration of being stuck on a bill where you don't really fit in, and that seems to happen to us quite a lot. So we're still trying to find our feet with which bands we're best sharing bills with. But
got you. Yeah, it does make sense. Yeah, it's a bit like you wouldn't want a blues band in the middle of a grunge set, would you, or something like that? So,
yeah, exactly.
Yeah, you've got to kind of fit in. But anyway, you've got the vibe. There's plenty of bands out there, plenty of stuff in the. So how would you, if that's the case, then how would you describe your music then? If you're saying you'd be struggling to fit in.
I don't know. We either get stuck on bills with like really heavy bands, because we do have some heavier stuff, but it's not all like that. We have a very strong focus on melody and definitely like pop structure as well. So I mean, we do have heavier stuff, but it still fits into that sort of pop song structure. We like to try and keep it simple and get the message across as quickly as possible. But then, conversely, we've been stuck on bills with very, very poppy sounding bands, where their audiences, are sort of like young teenage girls, and we don't really fit in with them either. So it's just trying to find that happy medium.
Yeah, I get that. It's difficult, isn't it? Difficult one. But at least you're fitting in. You're the outcast, not fitting in anywhere. But at least you do stuff, which is great. So I'll see if there's any questions on here. So what's the track we've got lined up is what's it called? Let's have a look. Misgiving. What's that all about? What's the story behind that? Because I like to understand that. Anyway, leave it with you.
Misgiving was something a little bit weird actually. I was doing the dishes. And that tends to be when I come up with ideas. Is like when I'm doing the dishes. and I just had the chorus melody pop into my head, and I was like, oh, okay. So I stopped doing the dishes and ran upstairs and grabbed a guitar and sort of figured it out. Lyrically, it's very much about mental health struggles, and it's about the sort of the tabooism, if that's even a word, that sort of surrounds mental health. You know, I think it's a lot more acceptable to talk about openly these days, but there's still a lot of work to be done on that side of things. You know, and just the kind of reaction you get from people when you do try and talk about it, and they feel uncomfortable, so they kind of try and brush it off and say, oh, you know, you'll be fine. And that's just, it's kind of about that, really. It's just about mental health struggle, and you know, having the difficulty of finding somebody to talk to about that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's pretty much what it's about.
Pull yourself together. What's wrong with you, nutcase? Yeah, come on. Yeah, it's not easy, is it, when you're in that that dark place? It's not good. And if anyone's been there, and I think most people throughout their life will at some point dip into that that darkness at some point, won't they? Got to have
Absolutely.
done. And I think it needs talking about, and it's a difficult one. Really, is a difficult one. So good for doing that. So where's the name come from?
Zilch. I mean, we were kicking around so many names to start with, and again, I think that's something a lot of people can relate to, is the struggle of trying to find something that kind of sums up how you sound and who you are as people. But we didn't want to, you know, we don't have particularly big egos for the most part. So, you know, we didn't want to like big ourselves up. So we were circling around the idea of like zero and nothing for a while, just to try and keep it as flat as possible. And then Zilch was just one that came up, and it was like, oh, okay, that sounds kind of cool. It's better than zero, you know, or nothing. So
well, yeah, no, I like it. I wondered if it was Zilch, or it was Sean, because I think Shawnable, who sponsors the show Wolf and Brew, he says I think he's quite a big fan. Being interviewed, brilliant. Yeah, there you go. Yeah. So yeah,
awesome.
You got some fans out there. You've got one like me. So there you go. Got one watcher, one that's. So sometimes people drop questions in. There's one in it. It says best gig so far.
Oh, best gig so far. I mean, back in September, we've got a music festival in our city, Worcester, where we're from. Worcester Music Festival happens every year. Obviously, again with COVID, didn't happen for a couple of years. But the one this year was the first one back after 2 years hiatus, and that was an awesome show. It was so good. And, the venue was packed, and people were just like having fun, and that was really good. You know. Yeah. We recently had our first gig in London as well, and that was a really fun show too. Much smaller crowd, you know, but I think we were pretty well received. But yeah, I'd have to say, best show so far probably Worcester Music Festival earlier this year. It was really, really good.
Yeah, and I think after that, I mean, we went to a music festival earlier on the year, and you could tell, you know, everyone had been isolated and not got out. There's no gigs, nothing, and to actually be in a massive field with bands and people everywhere was brilliant. And I think anyone that's gigged this year in that sort of environment would have felt the vibe, because people truly wanted to be there and they'd missed it. And I think, I can imagine that was probably a magical experience for you.
It was, yeah.
Yeah, and then we get that, and then we get this worst thing that's happened at a gig, because we have things like where bands turned up for an old mic night, and there wasn't even anything there apart from a mic, not even a mic stand, just a mic. So, so there's some absolute crackers that we could think. Is anything like that happened to you? Or what's the worst thing that's happened at a gig that you think, oh my God? A bit like me doing these show now on me blooming laptop and no sound. And anyway, it happens.
Worst thing that happened at a gig? It's kind of hard to pick one thing, really. A common thing that tends to happen is when, you know, we're on a bill with bands and gear sharing isn't properly communicated beforehand, and then bands turn up and they haven't brought stuff, and then they expect other people to lend it out, and it's like, we should have just had that conversation before, you know. So we make a point of trying to get that in the bag as early as possible.
Yeah.
get it in writing, so that there's no confusion there.
Yeah.
Probably worst thing personally for me that I can think of is a band showed up with no amps, no cabs. They just literally brought like their guitars and their pedals, and they were like, "Oh, we thought we were using your amp," and I was like, "No, I did say we weren't going to do that, but we had to help them out in the end." They're a good bunch of guys as well, but
unbelievable. At least bring them, lads, and leave them in the car. It's a bit like going to a party and not taking the dessert, isn't it? Where's the dessert? You know what I mean? Turn up and there's nothing there, or you know what I mean? It's no good, is it? If everyone's got to participate, interested, really, really interested, really interested. There you go. Oh yeah, because it was I think in the green room it was cookies, wasn't it? Chocolate cookies.
I do love chocolate chip cookies.
Excellent. That's what my wife used to call me when I first met her, the Cookie Monster, because everything. I've got one somewhere. It's always in the camper van. I've got a little Cookie Monster in the camper van. So there you go.
Oh, nice. I should get a T-shirt or something.
Bit deaf like that.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, Kev B's on. He's a new contributor over the last few weeks, and he likes asking questions. He says pre-gig rituals or superstitions. So I mean, you wear the same underpants, turn them back to front. What is it? Anything?
No, just pre-gig ritual for me. Nervous piss. That's literally it. That's it. And it's never satisfying, like you feel like you really need to go, and then it's a trickle. That's kind of my pre-gig ritual.
Oh, awesome! Do you know what? That'd be an awesome band name, Nervous Piss. I fucking like that, Janice. Let's name a band Nervous Piss. That's wonderful. But that we get that because that's a bit like if you're going. I don't know if you're staying somewhere, you're going to bed, or if it's a tent or anything, and like it's going to be a bit difficult to go to the loo. You like go for another one, don't you? Just as yeah. You feel like you're gonna. Yeah, I get that. Nervous
just
piss.
To make sure. Yeah.
Excellent. So. Wonderful. Well, that's different. That's different. I like that. That's brilliant. Right, so we're going to name a band Nervous Piss. It's got to happen. I think it's out there. In fact, there's probably a band called that, no doubt, somewhere.
Probably. I might look it up after.
Excellent. Well, what we're going to do, because I'm running on, the only way I can have you on screen, this is brilliant, I shouldn't even be telling you all. The only reason I can have you on screen is because I've plugged the power cord and plugged my screen into where my power goes, into my computer. So I'm starting to run out of power, which is great, isn't it? This is marvellous, absolutely marvellous. So, yeah, there you go. Who would you like to play with then? So you said at the start, earlier on, that you don't really fit in, or you've struggled with some bands. So which band do you think you'd harmonise with? What would you like to support?
That's a really tough question. I mean, there are a couple of bands locally that we do fit on the bill with. Hip Flask Virgins is one of them. We've played with them a bunch of times. Really good couple of guys.
Yeah.
So I mean, we fit in well with them. But if we're talking like on a bigger scale,
yeah.
Me and Cal absolutely love Tiger Cub, and I have had the opportunity to play with them before in another band that I was in, and it was really, really cool. But I mean, like, they're doing so much better now. Have you heard of Tiger Cub?
The name sounds familiar. No doubt we've had them on the show. Let me have a look, because we don't do that many. Yeah, it sounds familiar. No doubt Janice will be telling me. Tiger Cub, are we following them? No. We'll follow them now.
Oh,
anyway.
You should follow them. They're really, really good. Well, but I think that would be like my ultimate sort of like support.
So what?
Like
what
for us to support them.
Right. Okay. What track do you like from them? You've got the Perfume of Decay, Burning Effigies, Control. Yeah. Is that them? Is this them?
They're all great.
Are they?
They're all great.
Well, what we're going to do, because she'll kick
Perfume of Decay is their latest single, and I have been listening to that a lot.
Right. Well, what we'll do, she'll go mad, the producer, because I do this. It's not even on the playlist, but it is now. We'll play that after your track. Do you know what I mean? Well, what we'll do, we'll put it out there. So people on Mixcloud, if you're listening on audio, drop a message. When we do play the track in a minute, let us know you think this band would fit in. And if you know anyone who's organising a gig, festival, and you think these would slot right in, well, give us a shout. Speak to Janice on the old Twitter. She's also on Duggys Atomic Dustbin on Twitter as well, so you can get there. Right, so we're going to do that. We're going to play that track. Is there anything you'd like to put out there? Because what we're going to do, we're going to let you get on with your day, and we're going to carry on with the show. I'm going to plug my computer back in and make sure that I can finish the show with enough power.
Anything that I'd like to get out there. Give us a follow on the socials, and we'll have new music coming out really, really soon. So keep your eyes peeled.
Right. I'll tell you what I forgot to do, because we need to get a jingle off you, even though my jingle deck's not working today. Can you say, I know, this is Zilch, and you're listening to Duggystone Radio.
This is Zilch, and you're listening to Duggystone Radio.
Perfect. And what we'll do, that'll be on future shows, because normally we play the jingles in the show, and it's nice to capture them while you're on. So I'm going to let you get on with your day. I'm going to plug my computer back in. We're going to play your track, and I've got it lined up here. Misgiven. So go and check the band out. Thanks for being on. Thanks for putting up with all this this madness this morning, but it happens, doesn't it? The show must go on.
Yeah.
See you soon.
I'm drowning instead of breathing. Got nothing except empty questions. I had to do a little digging. Gotta find another way out. I can see now, don't wanna be this. Yeah, it's closing time, I wanna leave, but I can't help it. I never wanted to be a part of another sale. Just shut up, you'll be fine. I'm bound into this place of mine, and I'm just here to waste your time. But if you just shut up, you'll be fine. Just shut up, you'll be fine. Just shut up, you'll be fine. Hey, 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 yeah, I keep you quiet, forever dreaming. You're just another noise I could do without. Paint me another picture in a world where we never suffer doubt. I found you a little seedling, started to burn out, screaming for the end. Discarded, I didn't want it. I still remember when you said, just shut up, you'll be fine. I'm bound into this place of mine, and I'm just here to waste your time. But if you just shut up, you'll be fine. Just shut up, you'll be fine. Just shut up, you'll be fine. Hey, 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 yeah, well. Just shut up, you'll be fine. I'm bound into this place of mine, and I'm just here to waste your time. But if you just shut up, you'll be fine. Just shut up, you'll be fine. Just shut up, you'll be fine. Hey, 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 yeah, well. Hey, hey,
Wow.
well.
Aren't they good? Aren't they good? I'm liking that. Really good vibe. What do people say about that? But go and check them out. They were Zilch, Soon to be renamed Nervous Piss. And Sean Hultbill's been on. He says, I've renamed my dog Nervous Piss. There could be swearing on the show. I don't know. There's a band called Nervous Eaters. Pre-gig. Yeah, we've had all that, Sean. But they sound absolutely fantastic. You could put them on. Janice, get hold of them. Somebody could go on with any band. They're absolutely brilliant. Bit of a Nirvana cat kind of vibe there, rocking. I think they're brilliant. But anyway, this is another Duggystone Radio's introduction on Duggys Atomic Dustbin Part 37. And we're bibbling along. Anyway, come and join us Thursday, 8 a.m. on Mixcloud Live, or you can get us on the app, or just say, Alexa, open Internet Radio, or Alexa, open Duggystone Radio. Both will work. Try them. Anyway, let's get back on with the show. Bye.